Every month feels like opening a jewelry maker's treasure chest, and this month's bead clubs are no exception. Are you ready to see what's waiting inside? Our first box we're going to unbox today is going to be the Rotating Beads of the Month Club. Now this is the club that I get on a monthly basis that rotates from one club to the next, if you're not familiar with it. This month's club is going to be the Two-Hole Beads of the Month. It's also called Heart's Desire. And then something else that's really nice that if you're not familiar with it, this is the little sheet that comes with all the beads. It tells you what the what the name of the bead is here, what the description is right here. It tells you the color of it, how many pieces and or grams that you'll get, and then the estimated retail price. Then down here at the bottom it tells you how much you could potentially save by buying this on through Adornable Elements Beads in the Month Club. So this is really handy and helpful if you're not familiar with what the beads are. If you're new to bead weaving and or if you're new to beads themselves, then you could look at this little number right here and or letters. Sometimes they're numbers. This one says FFO, so then you would go and look for the little container that has the letters FFO next to it. Then this would be that first set of beads right there. Now the other numbers that are sitting next to the FFO on here, the 913, that tells you the size of the bead. So the bead itself is going to be 9 millimeters across and 13 millimeters down. So that's how you can read their information. So now we'll go through each little bead itself. So that first one that I was picking up, that one is Pink Opal Faceted Flat Ovals. Now this one, I forgot to get my needle out so I can show you the needle or the hole paths and everything. A lot of these you could see where the holes are at, but sometimes it might be a little bit difficult just depending on how well the camera is recording. So you got your two holes on this one, so you got one down here in the bottom, and then you've got one up here at the top. So you can kind of see the holes in this one. But it's very nice. It's got more of a flat edge on the back, and then it's a little bit faceted on the top. So that way there's a little bit of a sparkle to it. Yeah, the camera's picking that up. So yeah, when you move it around and everything, you got a little bit of a sparkle. So that's pretty neat. The second one that you get out of this is Rosaline AB Large Half Moon. You get 20 pieces of this. I forgot to say you get 10 pieces of the first one. This one you get 20 pieces of. So it is a Rosaline bead. Man, get the words out, Dina. It's a Rosaline color bead, which is like a very light pink color. And then on one side you have the AB coloring, so you can see that this one's a little bit more shinier. Almost looks silver in the camera, but it's actually kind of an AB, so you see a little bit of blues and pinks and purples that shine through every once in a while. And then this one just has just the pink side to it. And you can see the two holes right there. The next one is a Parpuka bead. If you're not familiar with Parpuka, she is a designer that comes up with different beads and then makes up different patterns and things like that that uses all of her beads that she comes up with. So that's who that is. But this is the Chalk Capri Gold Samos Parpuka. So this is called a Samos bead, and then your color is the Chalk Capri Gold. Your holes are going to be at the ends, just similar to the first one that we looked at. So here on one end, and then here on the other end down here. So your back side, the chalk side, is your flat side, and the part that has the Capri Gold is more of a domed side. Let me see if I can hold it and get it to sit on its side. There you go. So now you can see where the dome is at, and you can see that the other side is flat. So that is a Samos Parpuka bead. The next one is Milky Pink Copper Picasso Lentils. So they're two-hole lentils. They're just round beads. You have different types of lentils. You can have a single lentil, which it's not called that, it's just called a lentil, but it just has a single hole in it. You've got the double hole lentils like this one. You can also get a quadrilentil, I think is what it's called, and you'll have two other holes in here too. So different types of lentils, always something fun to work with. The next one is Twilight Crystal Bricks. You get 50 pieces of this one, you get 50 pieces of the lentil, and then you get 6.5 grams of the parpuka. I keep forgetting to say that. So this is the Twilight Crystal Brick. So you have your 2 holes on either end of the brick. So there's one side, and then there's the other one there. And it's just a crystal bead, and it has almost like a yellowish or a goldish type overlay on the bead, and then every once in a while you see like a little bit of like an AB finish almost. So I don't know, it's a really pretty color. I really like that one. It's a very good neutral color. The next one is Luster Rose Gold Topaz Crescent. You get 7.5 grams of these beads, and these beads, I'll hold up one of these because they're really thin, but that's the width of your crescent. And then you've got the 2 beads, or the 2 holes on either side. You get one there, and you have one there. And it's just shaped kind of like a moon, like a crescent moon, just not as rounded, or not as pointy as one. It's a little bit less pointy. Also something very interesting to work with. This next one, you get 25 pieces of Chalk AB Pyramid Studs. Now, every time I see these type of beads, it always reminds me of necklaces that used to be worn in the 80s. They were usually choker necklaces, and they had little studs that would come out like this. That's what it always reminds me of. But this one has 2 holes. So you've got a flat side down here, and it's shaped just like a pyramid. So your pyramid is up there at the top. And then your holes go through the bottom sides down here. So you've got one on each side. Actually, you can probably see it better here. So you've got one going in this direction and one going in this direction. And your last one, if you are familiar with bead weaving of any type, you more than likely know what a super duo is. These are your super duos in the pack, and they're Rosaline Capri Gold super duos. Very good staple to have if you're not familiar with bead weaving. This will be a bead that you will see a lot of, in a lot of different colors, and all sorts of different finishes and things like that. But a super duo is basically an oval type bead that has a little bit of an indentation where the holes are at. So your first hole is there, your second hole's on the other side down here in the bottom. Has a little bit of an indentation where those holes are at, but they're very, very good beads to use in bead weaving. You can use it in bead stringing also if you have a two-strand project that you're working on. Very, very good versatile type beads to use. So this is the the rotating beads of the month, the 2-hole beads of the month from me for August of 2025. This is also the kit that I am gifted through Adornable Elements in exchange for unboxing tutorials, as well as tutorials on how to do other products with these specific beads. So, doing the unboxing today. I'll come back in about a week or 2 and I will show you at least 1, if not more, different tutorials on how to make jewelry with these type of beads. So meet me back in just a moment, and then we'll go through the 2 kits that I purchase on a monthly basis. And here is the club that I purchase on a monthly basis, the Gemstones Beads of the Month. I get this on a monthly basis. I always purchase the single month club on this one. And then I also get the Findings Companion Pack as well. So we'll go through these really quick, and then afterwards we'll do a short tutorial, and I will most likely use the contents from this portion of the unboxing. Alright, try to pick this up without dropping anything. Get it a little bit closer to the camera. First one that we have is a faceted coin. 10 millimeters is its size, and you get a quantity of 5 of these. Now, citrine is your gemstone, if you haven't noticed yet. Citrine is one of those yellow colored gemstones, which I like the color yellow, and I know I'm one of those that not everybody does. So citrine may not be your cup of tea, but I really like citrine. It's very, very nice pale yellow all the way up to this orangey, almost yellow color. It's very, very pretty. I really like it. The next one you get is a 6mm round bead. You'll get 20 of these. And you can see a little bit of the difference in the texture on the gemstones too, where you have a little bit darker. Here you even see a little bit of a brown inclusion right there. And then these over here off to this side are a little bit more clearer in color. So very, very nice. Now this one is very, very sparkly. It's got a whole lot of facets on it. But these are faceted round 8mm beads. You get 10 of these. So these are very, very sparkly. You got, it's almost like a disco ball in a way. But it's gemstone. So that's really kind of neat. And the citrine gemstone. So it's really kind of neat. I really like it. This next one is a faceted drop 7x10mm. You get 5 of these. Now you can see the differences again. These are a little bit more clear right here, and then these other 3 are a little bit darker in color. Now I have an idea in my head, and I thought I was going to do that for the unboxing, the short tutorial unboxing, but I'm not quite sure if it's going to work or not. So I'm going to come back and probably do another video on it, but my idea is to use these 5 drops along with either another one of these beads or maybe a different color bead and make a little flower, like a center flower with it, and then finish it off with a bunch of the 6mm on either side of the flower and make it into a bracelet. So that's an idea that I have. Hopefully I will have time to work it out, make sure it works, and then come back and show you how to do it. So here is the last portion of the gemstone beads of the month. You get 2, these are between the size of 2 and 2.5mm. They're faceted rounds. So these are actually faceted, which you can see a little bit of the sparkle. See, as I move it around and everything, they do sparkle and everything. And you get a total of 50 of these. So I may end up using this in the bracelet also, if I come back and show you. But you can see the differences there again. You see the dark, almost brownish color. You can see a lot of the light yellow around, and then you can see some right in here are the really, really clear yellowy colors. Really love citrine. It's very, very pretty. I love gemstones in general, if you haven't noticed already. Alrighty, so the Findings Companion Pack this month is Antique Silver in color. So this first one, I'm going to actually set this down so I can show you how it works. It is a fancy alligator clip clasp. So this is basically a little clip. So it's kind of like a sandwich clip or a paper clip of some sort. So it's just like that. And then you've got your ring that's over here. So then it attaches to the ring in that way. Then you can attach this to your product down here in the bottom. And then over here off to this side right here with the jump ring. So that is your alligator clip. Next one you get is a very pretty large flower lobster clasp. So it's a nice hefty duty clasp there. And you got a flower on that side, flower on that side. So it's the same on both sides. Then you have a loop and ball toggle. So there's your toggle clasp for this kit. And they're the same on both sides, both the toggle, the loop, and with the bar. I have to set this down one more time so I can show you a little bit easier. You get rhinestone filigree flower post earrings. You get 1 pair. So here are the earrings. They're very pretty. I'm going to end up using these with the earrings because I'm going to come back and do earrings, I believe. So you've got the loop down there, and then you've got your post in the back. Comes with 2 different types of ear nuts though. You've got your normal type of ear nut there. It also comes with plastic ear nuts. So if you prefer the plastic ones, or if you lose these, the other ones back here, then you have another set that you could use. Next thing you get is decorative bails, and these may actually vary. So I'm showing you 2 bails here. You may end up getting one of the same, or both of the same, or 2 completely different ones, because you may end up getting different types. So I've got 1 bail there, and it's the same on both sides. And then the same thing with this bail. You've got that pattern on that side, and then the same type of pattern on that side. So those are the 2 bales that you get. You also get an assortment of 2-inch 23 gauge ball head pins. You get a total of 10 of these. Then you also get Tierra Cast 2-loop branch links. You get a pair of these, and Tierra Cast is a very good company that makes really good components and findings and things like that. And that's the way it looks like on the back. So it's got the same type of pattern on both sides. And then the last thing you get are a quantity of 12 6mm twisted jump rings. So those are the jump rings you get in this kit. Alright, so those are the Beads of the Month Gemstone, oh, what am I saying? The Gemstone Beads of the Month Club, as well as the Findings Companion Pack. So, next screen will show you a supplies needed if you would like to follow along and make the earrings that I plan on making. And meet me back after that, and we'll get that started. Now that we have all of our items out and ready to go, let's make this earring. So we're going to start off with the head pin. Probably want to have to straighten it out just a little bit, which is perfectly fine. Sometimes that happens. They're a little bent. Just straighten it out a little bit. Doesn't have to be perfect or anything like that. We're going to start off with our coin bead. I'm going to pick up one of the coins. And since this head pin has a little ball at the end, I'm not going to put a seed bead down at the bottom. But I will put a seed bead in between the other beads. We're going to put the 8mm, looks like a disco ball type gemstone next. Another seed bead, and then end with our 6mm. So we do the 10mm coin, 8mm disco ball, and 6mm round. Oh, and then end with a seed bead. Almost forgot to end with a seed bead. Alright, so now we should have just enough room to where we can make ourselves a wrapped loop with what's left over. So how do I do my wrap loops? I line up my chain nose pliers where it's sitting on the top bead, whatever's the top one, and then I figure out, okay, which bead am I going to use to measure by? I'm going to go by the 6mm bead right there. So I'm putting the left hand side, or the tip most of my chain nose pliers, lined up with the left hand side of the 6mm round there. I keep touching my stuff to help keep me stop shaking so you can see what I'm doing. But I have it lined up over here on the left hand side. With that being the case, I now can push the wire up over the top of the pliers to where it looks like this, and then makes a 90-degree angle. Now I put down those pliers, pick up my round nose pliers, and set them up in the same way. Put them to where the wire is in between the two jaws of the pliers, but the left hand side of the pliers, or the tipmost part of the pliers, is lined up with the left hand side of the 6mm bead. When you have that set up, then push your wire up over your top jaw of your round nose pliers all the way until it hits the beads on the other side. Open up your jaw, switch it to where it's now the bottom jaw, like that, and then continue on with your wrapped loop around that bottom jaw until you get to the back of your earring. When you have that, you'll have something that looks like a loop. Now I'm going to hold on to this loop because this is kind of small, so I'm going to finagle this around until I can get a hold of it. And make sure my seed bead stays out of the way. Oh my, come on now, work with me. You did fine. You did fine on the other one. Why are you being a pain? Okay, there we go. Then I'm going to use my chain nose pliers to help with wrapping this little part around the rest of the earring. So I'm going to do this nice and slow because I have just a little bit left over from that wire, or from that head pin. And you just want to wrap it around 2 or 3 times, whatever you feel like doing, until it looks nice. I think I did 3 loops on the last one, which I will show you that in a minute, because I'm actually going to do this one slightly different, and I'm going to ask to see which one y'all prefer. Do y'all prefer my version number 1 that I did off screen, or do you prefer the version number 2 that I'm doing with you now? And then that will end up being, whatever y'all choose, will end up being what I put on my Etsy shop. Alright, so now I'm doing flush side towards the product, cutting off the extra, and then putting that off to the side. Then I'm going to take my chain nose pliers again, and I'm going to make sure that the end portion of that wire is tucked in, and it's twirling around on me again. So let's grab it again with our other pliers, and then now I can tuck that in a little easier. Sometimes you have to use the second pair of pliers. That scared me. I thought I got the seed bead. And there is a little bit of wiggle room. There's a little bit of movement there. I'm okay with that. And if that bothers you, you can always do a little bit more loops, or you can make your, when you line up your pliers and everything, make it a little bit less than the left-hand side of the bead. Whatever you're comfortable with doing. Completely up to you on what you want to do with that. Alright, so now I'm going to get my jump ring that came in the kit, and I'm going to attach our gemstones to our ear wire. So this is version number 2. So I'll hold this up to you closely so you can see it. So this is version number 2, where we have our ear wire and just our simple little gemstones attached down on the bottom with a jump ring. So version number 1 is this. So it almost looks like a, I don't know, I feel like it looks like hair. Like a chain of hair behind it. But that's all I did, is I just cut off lengths of chain, and I just measured how much I wanted to cut off, and I ended up cutting off a total of 11 links, and then attached the links to the holes along the edge of the earring here. So I have 2 links attached here on this side. There's nothing attached here because that is where the hole is. That's where we added our gemstones, and then attached 2 more links over here off to this side. Then I did on the back of the gemstone portion, I added 3 more links to the back of it, so that way it just kind of gave it a little bit more of a balance in the back of the earring. So that is what I would like for you to tell me. Which one do you like best? Do you like version number 1 on the left, or do you like version number 2? Those were the 2 earring styles I created with this month's Citrine gemstones and the antique silver findings pack, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you prefer the clean look with just the gemstones, or the dramatic version with the curtain of chain? Let me know down in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe so you can catch my next design video using the 2-hole beads of the month club called Heart's Desire. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. I'll see you on the next one. Bye now.